process of ideation, whether you're looking for money, you need space, scale, you want to meet other players. We've got a pretty robust ecosystem today. So this goes, and I'm just going to accelerate it. It's big, a lot of things. So let's get to the fun. As Jeff mentioned, the format's 11 minutes, followed by 1 minute of feedback per advisor, not judged because this is not a competition, followed by 5 minutes of you guys throwing out suggestions, feedback, questions. So I'm going to introduce, well, two of the judges because you already met Jeff. So Jess is the executive director of the York Angels. Jess, you want to stand up and give a couple words for yourself?
Thanks everyone for being here tonight. We're delighted to be part of this event. York Angels is a group of about 75 accredited investors who invest in entrepreneurs in highly scalable businesses. And the York Angel Group, what we do is we curate the deal flow of the companies that are coming in together. So I joke that we say we're a high-end dating service, bringing the entrepreneurs and the angels together for an opportunity. You meet here and you have pitches very similar to what we're going to see tonight. And then the angels decide whether or not they want to get into due diligence and get involved. If you have any questions about York Angels, happy to answer that after the fact. Thank you.
Thanks, Jess. So Satijan he's the person who runs Ideal Labs, and they are a privately held incubator based out of Markham. A couple weeks ago, you ran a huge event at Mars called Launch, and the person considering tonight, it's where I'm from. So Satijan, do you want to share a little bit about what the labs is up to?
Thanks, Lucas. Thanks. Pretty much what Lucas just said. It is a private incubator. We have a hands-on working approach with startups. We also do pre-seed investment as well.
Thank you. We've the highs of their orders so they can have their expectations set. You're going to hear a lot about them, but the first company I'd like to call is Duo, or others, Mark, and let's hear their pitch about, or Mark's pitch about Blair.
I'm the founder and CEO of Juvo. You say Juvo. But before I get started, I want to start with a little scenario. Say you're driving down a highway, it's murky, it's dark, you can't see anything. Then you get into a thunderstorm. You know what leaves coming out of the car? What's flammable? I mean, electrical leaves coming out of the car. And you have the officer that comes on the scene, pulls out one of these. This is a stick of fire that burns at 200 degrees Celsius. That's meant to illuminate an area of hazard. This is called a road fire. Now, keep in mind, there are several maladies with these road fires, but they boiled up being in class. They're extremely brittle, limited burn time of 5 to 30 minutes, and you have harmful and carcinogenic fumes that come out of the stick, come out of the flare itself. So, would you really want the people that's supposed to protect you to use something like an explode your car? Or you can use a creative, non-combustible, electronic version of such flare. Now, look at this. This is an electronic road flare that we call the V-torch. The V-torch is meant to be a green LED-powered. Now, you can see, this is the lowest stage setting. Now, it's not so bright here. It's a well-lit environment. But in an environment that freezes stage, you can't really see it. Well, this can play a pivotal role in highlight what makes us different than most LED flares as follows. We have fine-tuned control over the brightness of the LEDs along with the stage setting of the LEDs. So it can virtually match any environmental scenario this LED flare is deployed in. It also has a robust strength send it out as a tripod. Now the competition, it can go lower, yes, $45. This is the lowest standard flare. Such flare can only last about maybe 5 hours maximum. With a low limited red light, and that is very difficult to see as by COPS testings. COPS have used these LED flares previously, and they explained how even the LEDs that they used in competitions at $45 is very limited, even though also red LEDs. They can also go up to $380. So you also have to ask yourself, how much money is a police or a police department willing to spend on a flare? And it's not $380. They have a very tight budget. That's where we come in with a more price and cost-effective model. Now here's how our main sources of revenue. Our online sales will target more of the bulk and volume sales for emergency responders, fire departments, police departments, EMS. And then we'll tackle the more consumer-based revenue, which is going to be at Costco, Bass Pro Shops, Walmart, the everyday consumer that will be able to purchase our flares. This is the more premium model for emergency respondents, but this is the type of model one would see in a Bass Pro Shops or a Sale or a Costco. This is the more consumer-friendly, handheld, tinier model. As you see, it's also cheaper to make. This will be the future model we'll design after we've had a successful run with the more updated model, and then we'll move towards a more consumer-based revenue stream. We'll first tackle the main revenue stream of the online sales, and then we'll go expand into a secondary revenue stream with in-store sales. Now, our go-to-market strategy is very simple and direct. First, we're going to test out our products with an initial test of 100 flares in the York region. We'll tackle 5 police districts and 6 fire departments in York region with a beta test of 100 flares per district. This will be the initial test and the sort of testimonial gathering of our product. We'll get a lot of positive feedback, and we'll sort of get the positive reinforcement we need to add credibility to our company, because we're a very new startup. Not many people know what Huvo really is. So the more data we collect, the more credibility we build with a figure of authority such as the York Regional Police or in the York Fire Department, that would ease our way into the low-cost ads such as Facebook, YouTube, and that would help us ease and segue into the consumer model, which is then we'd release a model like this in the YouTube ads. Because by then we would have established our name, Huvo, as the safe LED flare company. Now, it's me at the moment. I am everything. You can see the code. I'm a robot freak, and I love talking in public. I'm right now a first-year engineering student, mechanics engineering student at UIT. So I have a coding background as well as a circuitry background to develop products like these. This is what qualifies me to design such a product. And also, I have a sort of a knack for and people with tech. So I apologize for that. So our supporters are as follows. We have been supported greatly with the York region. Ideal Labs from Sethigen, Venture Lab initially with the early stages of Huvo before we even had a prototype. Venture Lab offered us the support and the startup basics of initially starting Huvo and making it what it is right now. And then Mars provided us with the more of a market research and all those reports, very valuable reports, and that's how we sort of gauged our approach with this design. Now, our future steps are very also straightforward. We're going to validate our design, our functionality, and after that we'll have a final features list by the end of June. This final features list will allow us to move forward with the manufacturing in Canada, because offering a safety product with a made in Canada sticker turns out to be very valuable, especially for a product with this stature. Now, after that, once we sign with a couple of manufacturers in Canada to see which one is more cost effective, of course, we're going to start expanding the team, using the funds we get from grants to expand the team, mainly for R&D, legal, and marketing. Those are the main pillars we need right now to begin full operation. And then we're going to finalize by developing a website to begin our initial sales by, say, mid-fall 2017 or late August. Now, the ask we need to begin our operations is $50,000. $10,000 would go to the CSA certification, 8,000 would go to the full utility patent. We currently have a provisional patent. We have a full year until we file the full utility, and now the 8,000 would cover that. The 750 would go for the trademarking and logo of Huvo. 5,000 would go for the injection molds for the flare itself. 2,500 for inventory of 100 units for the initial test, beta test we're going to plan to begin this summer. $1,000 for the website, and then $3,000 for the marketing budget when we reach the low-cost YouTube and Facebook ads. $3,000 would cover the demands we need to reach that audience. Then $20,000 would be working capital, day in, day out expenses, such as, we need to remodel the overall shell. We can order new molds, just typical day in, day out tests. And thank you.
Advisors, any questions?
Okay, so the first thing I'll throw up is when you're going through, don't discount anything. We're all here to hear you talk, so be positive and stay positive because that's why we're here, right? So keep that going on. Comments. The business. I would probably look at tackling one of them first. So if that is going after the business side, pick business, go right after it. One of the areas you might want to look at is you're trying to change the way something works. I'm a police officer. I've been doing this 30 years. You're telling me that a flare doesn't work as good as this. I don't believe you. I'm not going to do it. So you have to change my perception. So one of the areas to change that perception might be is getting into training facilities. They all have to be trained and upgraded. So go there, get those put into a facility. They'll get used to them. It'll be like innovative thing. Then they'll bring that back to the police station or the fire department and say, hey, this is a new cool product called Juvo or Uvo. We got to get it to our place. So that'll help build it a little bit quicker and get people thinking about change because change is the hardest thing to break. So
the training system would validate, add to the validation process and just make us legit. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. On the one other thing I toss is the where you are now, where you came from, where you're going. So maybe put a trajectory in. It would be interesting to know where you started. So I started the product this day. This is what we've changed. What is this product? You have multiple products. I would stick to one. I get you can build 5,000 different models of this, but that's all cost. So how do you keep your cost effective and line everything up to deliver that one product? And this is when you're going to deliver it, and this is what the money's going to deliver for that.
Perfect.
Very interesting presentation. When you talk about reaching out to both the fire department and the police department, have you already made those contacts? Because if so, it would be great to have maybe something a little bit more concrete in terms of we've already initiated discussions or we're in training facilities or something that sounds aspirational and a little bit more concrete.
Correct.
That might be something. Have you?
Yeah, we have actually. We've contacted York Regional Police District Number 5, and they explain several areas that the flammable flares, and they told me on the phone that every point they hate about their flares, and that every aspect they told me what they hate revolved around this targeting all the pain points. So this flare design, and then just design it on a sketch pad. This is, well, initially did, but this design was meant to target all the pain points that the York Regional Police themselves told me on the phone. So this model is the latest model. This is just an ugly duckling model of this model, so this is the more functioning prototype. So that's designed around the errors they ran into every day using their flares.
So maybe even a slide, just because when you've got so much information, a visual that people can be reading while you're speaking, talking about to the points that these were the pain points and we've addressed them by X, Y, and Z. Yes. Have they agreed to do the beta testing like you discussed?
Right now, this is a recent model I developed, and using this model, I'm going to begin visiting the police departments, because at first I didn't have a functioning model. I just wanted to get a proof of concept ready. Okay. So I wanted them to understand that this is what I wanted to give them the more real-life experience, because I can just show them a 3D printed model, but they're not going to really understand the brightness level and all that. So when I get the battery in there and the circuitry in there, that would help me more in terms of sending a message. And yeah.
I think you also, the fact that you've already got a provisional patent and that you're working on, I think that's something, that's almost from an investor side, something that you lead with, because you do have something, there's a barrier to entry to other people. So you were talking a little bit about the different competitions. If you talk about your and the differences between you and your competition. It helps people who are not familiar with this industry understand a little bit more about what you're bringing and how much better what you're bringing is to the table.
Okay, yeah, correct.
Thanks, Jess. Like, you are one of the startups from our 20 startup that impressed us the most. Not just because of the idea, but the skill sets that you have implemented this with. And when I first met you, I didn't think you were 18 or going into first year university. So kudos to you for achieving this milestone, right? To next up, just keep going with like the feedback that you're receiving, right? I see that you're going in that direction. You're implementing the 3D models, like, you're in the 4th version or something right now. Now is the time, like, you're already getting the feedback, trying to set up a partnership or something that, you can get that pilot test with the police force, what they want to see you implement, get them to be an active contributor to this, right? Another thing is, the investor, so you're asking for $50,000, who does that fit, right? It's not a ask for everyone, like angel investment, or friends and family, or somebody in this area who has a vested interest in seeing some of these products out. So identify who those people might be, and cater the presentation, like, the ask towards them as well. So
Can I
that
put that on the screen?
no, the ask is, presentations not go for everyone, right?
Yes.
So try to identify who would foot that bill for the initial 50, that investor coming to help you at the start to push you along. It will not be everyone, so you have to identify who those people would be.
Thank you.
Okay. Good luck.
So this is the moment that you in the audience get to pretend that you're an advisor. You get to be an ad hoc advisor. Are there any questions?
When do you sleep?
Oh, I don't actually. It's like 3 a.m. in the morning. It's still steamy drink coffee. It's like my blood's more brown now. So.
Looking for a co-founder with a match of skill set, personality, missing skills, okay, personality match and so on, because you cannot do it on your own. You just can't. The second thing, and just very quickly, at first I was taken aback by the size of the device, because I wonder how many flares the regular police car actually has in the back. So presumably there's 5, 10, 15, but when they are used up and thrown away, and your device works on a continuous basis. So presumably they in the car, this is what they will need with the flash and so on, it's going to work. Otherwise, I actually like the smaller model much better.
This?
Yes, because from the design perspective, if you build it in such a way that it flashes up, the larger model becomes almost obsolete, even for police or firefighter purposes and so on. So this is just food for thought. Otherwise, extremely impressive. If you have done it on your own, you have a really bright future. Okay.
Thank you. Actually, I'd like to add to this. I'm sorry to take too long, but the thing is, I understand what you're saying, the big bulkiness of it. I've actually been addressed before by it. That's why this model is going to be a more detachable battery. Think of power tools, DeWalt. They have their big bulky batteries, clip in, clip out, and charge into a charging bank. We're going to approach the same model, the same idea, have a charging bank already embedded into a trunk of a cop car. Now, because of the rugged design, you can chuck it in the car and no one cares. Even the cop, they just throw it in, pop the battery into the charging bank, and then it doesn't matter what the other half is. We also have a holding case beside the battery pack just to be more professional.
Oh, okay.
And that would be sort of like the ease of use part, because like you have like maybe 5 battery packs ready. Each of them will give you 50 hours of use, or maybe you can look into making it half the time, because I think 2 days. We're starting to realize that 2 days of consistent battery is too much. You know, like a car accident will last 2 minutes. I mean, I'm sorry, 2 hours. 2 minutes of time. But yeah, so that's essentially the time. That's essentially what we're gonna. That's essentially the approach we're gonna take towards the bulky side of it, because that's essentially that was a big error we had, because the battery pack is huge in here. Yeah.
So,
Sorry. Hopefully, but no. We're gonna look in the same design of DeWalt's, like more of a circular to match the circular footprint, sort of like this DeWalt approach, but to match this device's body, to make it still waterproof and still rugged. We're gonna start aiming at how we can make it more watertight with the battery pack that's detachable. So, yeah.
okay, one, maybe two more questions.
Hi, my name is Ben. First of all, I love your idea. I served in the military for 3 years, and I think that this would be a very good accessory for us to have for training exercises, so on and so forth. One of the few things that came to mind was the weather, like you mentioned, right? It would need to be weatherproof. Did you consider different color options?
Oh, yes.
Because I heard you mention red, and also SOS, like different strobe features, different stuff like that.
Yes, we have actually considered that. This is the prototype. We're going to order special chip-on-board LEDs with bed into the control panel here. That is the road we're going to take. This is just for proof of concept. But essentially, yes, the red will definitely be our option, because we understand that red means emergency and more. It's more brighter. Yes, correct.
Okay, last question over here, and we have 40 seconds.
Hi, I'm Bheem. Actually, I like your product, and I think you can get some good sales. But the product and implementation and all these things are good. But I was just thinking, like, what is the market you are expecting, and what's the volume, and how much is your minimum breakdown when you can start getting profits? So I was just I didn't find so many numbers. So it would be good if you just add some numbers in presentation, because investors like numbers actually.
Okay, like projections, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. That was awesome. And if you have questions or suggestions for him, he's not running away. Please don't run away. After all the pitches are done, we'll have time to network. So this is just to kind of get the creative juices going, which hopefully will bode well for a conversation later. Mark, thank you. Okay, next up, if Niaz and Aisha could come up and talk a little bit about their project management and task management workflow management platform, Appon. So, okay, so you guys get mics. You got a mic there. Here, use this one.
Okay, thank you.
We had one, now we got two.
Okay.
Okay. Right, so this way. Okay, this way is going forward, right?
The right.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aisha Fareed, and I'm the co-founder of Appon Corporation.
Hi, everyone. My name is Niaz Panwa. I'm a co-founder of the Appon Corporation, and we are here to raise $245K.
Thanks for having us here, and it's a great pleasure and honor to be here. Let me start with my story. In my last job, I was responsible to find and manage productivity and collaboration tools. I found some of them, nice ones and necessary ones, and ended up having 5 different applications. And that is where my biggest nightmare started. I had confused users and lots of regular calls for training, for sign-on issues, and not to mention the overhead cost and the wastage of time over switching applications. Most importantly, our company's data was all over the place, which was not good at all. Let me give you a basic example of our daily life. In our daily life, just imagine if we have to go to individual stores to buy bakery, fruits and vegetable, pharmacy, and meat. Oh my God, it would be a Okay, We have a similar situation in our workplaces. There is a total chaos because there are several applications and employees are confused. Research says that in a day of 8 hours, an employee is, on an average, productive for only 2 hours and 53 minutes. Now, be and focus on his job rather than struggling over different applications.
Hello? Yeah. Right. We are proud to announce a beautiful tool, Intel Manager. Our main purpose is to eliminate total chaos in organizations level. Intel Manager is all-in-one tool. It's your social manager, it's your task manager, it's your project manager, it's your knowledge and training manager, it's your communication and performance manager. So everything under one roof. Intel Manager replaces several applications within the organization to save time, save money, and most importantly, eliminate confusion among users. It does not stop here. We have a native apps which allow employees to work while on the go. It means your useful data available at any time, at any place. Just imagine if you have several applications, and then you have several mobile applications for those applications, and all these installed on your app. Seriously, is it cool? Is it not cool at all? So all-in-one tool is the best way moving forward for all the organizations to remove and eliminate chaos. Let's talk about the competition that we have. We have some big boys that we have to talk to them. It's a Tibber, which is owned by TIBCO Software. We have a Workplace, which is owned by Facebook. We have a Yammer, which is owned by Microsoft. All these three big guys, they only have an enterprise social network. They don't have any other tools. But Intel Manager has a lot more features compared to these people and has more modules as well, which are very necessary at the moment for most of the organizations. And most importantly, Microsoft acquired Yammer in 2014 for $1.2 billion, which says a lot. It means we got some nice and juicy market waiting for us out there.
Okay, let's look at our market size. USA and Canada are the largest market in the world. We have expected that the market will expand in about, by 2020, to $4.8 billion. According to the research, there's a huge gap for on-premise solutions, which is very necessary for data security and compliance. The three competitors, or the three main big players, it's very surprising that they only account for 3% of the total market share, which means we have a big market waiting for us out there. The milestones that we have achieved so far are: we have a ready product to be launched. We have around 5,000 Twitter followers and 1,500 followers on LinkedIn on social media. We have also spoken to some of the big companies who are very keen to try our product.
We have Android and iOS apps available on the respective stores as well, so we are ready to go. Let me talk to you about the go-to-market strategy and exit strategy. It's very simple. As I said, that with on-premises and cloud-based solutions, it's not possible to have free trial, but we give free trial. It shows two things. One, we are very confident about our product. Secondly, companies know what they are getting it. And on top of that, we also offer 100 customization hours, which means companies are actually happy to add features whatever they want. And most importantly, feel like their own customized solution rather than they bought it off the shelf. We looking to put more to find the channel partners as well, because these are the people, those who are your commission-based salespeople. It doesn't increase your overhead cost, but it does a lot for you. And we like to organize several webinars, so increase awareness about the all-in-one tools as well. Now, our exit strategy is very simple. We like to reach 200 customers within 3 years, reach to $1.5 million revenue in first 3 years per year, and then later on acquired by big ERP company like Microsoft did it with a Yammer.
Our pre-money valuation is about $2.2 to $2.7 million. It's expected that we will have an average deal of around $80,000. Now let's look at the graph here. The red line is the profit, the dark blue is the revenue, and the light blue are the expenses.
Okay, let me read your mind and ask $1 million question. How are we going to acquire customers? Since I have been working a lot with the large technology companies and I've been selling the softwares and everything, so I know that the best way moving forward is to find the channel partners. And this is what I was doing for the last 6 years. So I'm expecting if we have a channel partners, most importantly, if your product is good and you offer a good, decent commission structure, your sales will grow like a crazy, because these people already have the customers in place. They just have to go and talk to them. So we're expecting about 60% sales coming from our channel partners and 40% sales coming from our own sales team within 3 years.
As you can see, we have got excellent feedback from large companies. We are very excited about the future of Intel Manager. With our reasonable and clear priorities set for ourselves, we are confident that we can achieve them by good planning and resources.
Right. Here's the team. We're standing here together, and we have a huge industry experience. We know what we are doing. We know how to achieve it. And the most important thing is that, if I know what I'm doing, it's very easy to achieve. But again, I'm not denying the fact that, it's a very hard out day. You have to. But the only thing is, both of us been on both sides of the table. Aisha has been buying softwares on behalf of the company, and I have been selling softwares on behalf of the company, not for the one company, but different companies. So we know exactly what we are doing. We know exactly how to sell and what to have in the product to be perfect in the market. And if you trust on us, you will never go wrong. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Okay, perfect. A couple thoughts. The first one was based on the raise and the valuation. I think you might have to give a little bit more detail and context to, based on the marketing trend of what you showed from where your company started, the revenues and value, where that all fits. Because the raise and the valuation, I think your valuation may be too high based on the amount of dollars that you're looking to raise, but also the depth of the product. No one doesn't really know at this point that you've spent an outsourced company $200,000 to build this product to get it to where it is. I don't know if you have $250,000 worth of revenue because you've signed CIBC and other businesses. So I need to be able to better understand where that's all kind of coming from to create a valuation. And the kind of other one is, it's a massive market. I know you talked about the 3 players that are in it. In the project management and all of the different pieces that fit to it, massive, massive market. There's a lot of companies that try to go down the road of building this product in, and they tend to go by a group and finding a little piece that they can take off and bring in, because again, you're forcing change across an organization. So if you're going after mid-tier, small, large enterprise companies, I think defining where that goal is will help you guys then define how you're targeting it. If you're going after mid-tier companies, is it IT, is it marketing, who really needs your product? That's a tough one because, again, people don't look at all-in-one solutions. It's hard for them to think that there's an all-in-one solution. I have unique business problems, and my unique business problems are not going to be achieved by your one product. That's the mentality. So it's a chip away, right? I have a QA product. This is how it works, but here's all the other things that may tie into it. So it is a transition change to think everybody wants all-in-one or custom, that kind of idea. So might be another way to look at it. So. Thank you.
Can I respond to that? Oh, it was just... okay, first of all, I mean, there are so many these companies with the task management tool, project management tool, and everything. Definitely understand, you're right there. All of them, almost 90% of them are SaaS model. And the big companies doesn't like that because of their data security and the compliance issues and everything as well. And the most important thing is that, you know, the tools that we are talking about here, task manager, project management and everything, they are pretty standard across the board. You know, it's a very unlikely, they are not there to solve the problem for you, they are there to increase the productivity for you. If they see more features in there and they see it's more productive, you know, then they go for that one. Especially, we have a very user-friendly interface. Right? So our main thing, like one of the feedback was that, you know, he's a VP Carrefour, and he said to me, he goes, you know, it's so easy to use, even my grandmother can use it. You know, so these are the things that, you know, like if you are talking about like these 3 people, yes, they are only enterprise social network, but this is the new trend of them, engaging employee. Because the everyday research is showing that if your employees are engaged, they are 200% more productive compared to that. So that's why that, you know, these, if we separate these from ERP, which is the basic thing, which they have problems, they have to address those problems through ERP, and this is the one which they have to improve the productivity. They want to make people more productive. So hopefully, you know, makes sense. Okay.
So following on Jeffrey's point, I think one of the things is to identify a niche and maybe give an example of how it works with that niche. So what other platforms you might be replacing and consolidating into one example, and then also maybe play it forward with, you're talking about a very user-friendly. What about some visuals related to that so we have an idea of what it looks like? Because at this point, I believe you have, you know, the platform completely developed, but even just some graphics or something getting started so that you can see what the platform looks like. So it feels just a little bit more real and live in the short pitch to hook somebody to get them into the live demo, because I'm assuming that no investor is going to invest without a real live demo and seeing some things. I think also maybe just working a little bit further along in terms of the revenue structure, because, you know, I got the free trial part, I got the 100 hours customization, but I don't understand necessarily how that's going to convert into an 80K deal. Is it all up front, how it's loaded and so on. So maybe a little bit of the financial so we can understand sort of where that development is going. Okay, so this is...
Yeah. These are actually moving images. So this is the app where you have all these tools in there. Okay. And this is the desktop application. And this is where, you know, the people were clicking and going to the everything. And when it comes to the niche, there's the industries we are particularly targeting. The, you know, the airline industry, banking industry, construction, logistics, and retail. They are the big guys, those who want efficiency, real efficiency. If you go to, like, probably any manufacturing, their productivity tools or their efficiency tools are completely different than the normal ones. But when it comes to the airline, you know, they want everything while on the go, because the majority of the people there are on the go. And, you know, the way they look at the productivity, the other normal industries, they look at different way. So yeah, that if, you know, if I answer that, you know, this is the niche market. Yep. And actually, one more thing is, I did try to put different slides But somebody gave me advice, and he said to me, he goes, Niaz, shouldn't be more, not too many. But initially, which I sent to Lucas, it had all the features available for each module. And then everyone said, he goes, seriously, is this what you're going to tell on the pitch? You need to be short and concise. So this is what we did. But I do apologize if it didn't make sense.
No, it's great. And then maybe as you move forward, getting a pilot and a case study, again, would be more tangible and help people in terms of the conversion process.
Yeah, we have a case study with Carrefour, and they are almost, they're happy to take it, and they really think that, because they have similar problems. They so many times they want to customize it, they want to bring it down, so make sure that, and as you know, if those who relate to the software industries, it's not only the issue with 4 or 5 tools, the issue is dealing with the 4 or 5 suppliers at the same time as well. That's a huge issue as well.
And I was working for Carrefour, so I have the problem that I shared with you. It's one of them.
Fantastic. So maybe just touch a base then.
Yeah.
One of the other things is on the pricing model in terms of how it sort of rolls out so we understand how that builds into a full deal then and how the revenue comes in.
Actually, when I talked about the competition, initially I did put what each product is costing to the big guys, and I did put the name of eBay is using, and the other big guys are using. And they actually have spent, just on the enterprise social network, they've spent over $200,000, $150,000. So it's a very expensive product. Again, I totally agree that, it was just at the moment beginning. We haven't looked at it, what the price is going to be, and on the number of users, and, size of the company and everything. Yes, absolutely.
So just
Sorry about that.
Exist, right? Thanks, Jeffrey, for having this, because you're ready to raise funds and you're just getting the bolts as to how to be better. And some of the stuff that we are seeing is when we ask the question, you're able to respond to it, but which was not in the presentation, right? So those are stuff that you have to get in there so that we can see the slides and get those things from you. Importantly, like the business model. You said how the competitors are doing SaaS model, so does that mean you're not doing SaaS model? And if you're not doing SaaS model, then it doesn't entice investors. People are customer acquisition cost and stuff like that comes into play. So those type of stuff. And the product, what are the activities that it is trying to solve for employees within organization is a bit unclear. So trying to provide examples of those would clear our doubts, so we don't need to, go into questioning, okay, is this a good product, or what is it solving? We will start putting thoughts into our mind, so you should answer those questions before thoughts creep into our heads. Another thing is about the team. We weren't sure how the product was developed. You have the management team, so how much has it cost you up until now to build this product? What are the numbers that's behind, coming to a full executable product, right? So it's not a prototype or anything. This is a full functioning product, so we need to understand the costing that was involved prior to coming to this level.
Awesome, thanks. So we can do a Q&A approach, but what I'm thinking is just in the interest of giving you more feedback that you can use to build your pitch, maybe what we do is comments. If there are questions, make it quick, and then we can fit in more questions. And I didn't take your mic, Aisha, because of the thing. We're just running out of battery on the other one, so it's not personal. Okay, so we're going to start on this side, then we're going to go to that side, and then come back. Your hands up. Time.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the presentation. But I'm myself in IT, maybe I'm just too picky on that, but I didn't get a full picture exactly what you're trying to solve. Like you said, you're connecting these applications, but what does it going to do, for example, for airline exactly? That is one of my things. And the other thing, okay, so you're talking about $1.2 million, like $1 billion kind of companies, but getting into that kind of market, I think like 245,000 is really nothing to get into that market unless you have another plan. Say for example, so we're gonna like arrange with a mid-market or maybe like target only one of the industries, and then once we get more money, then we're gonna go that way, because like definitely 1.2 billion dollars is not gonna happen with 240,000 in like 2-3 years, right? It's gonna need definitely much more money than that, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. I keep it short. I totally agree. And most important thing is, when we talk about the task manager, project manager, knowledge base and all that stuff, they are already there in the market. People, most of the time, they know exactly what problems they are solving and, how they're helping in the productivity. So that's why we thought that, it was, better to cut it short. But yes, I can understand. I take the feedback and I understand where you're coming from.
Questions on this end? Oh, might I get somebody else? Okay. Start with you, and then you.
Rather than question, it's a suggestion to change the name. You'll find out the Intel System Management tool. So I would suggest you to search for more relatable name to your application. And I bet Intel wouldn't be happy to have the brand name, let's say, used by someone else. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your advice.
Thanks for presentation. Just a couple of industries that you mentioned there, I would think they would be interested to see some possibly security certifications. So like, for example, banking industry, if there's like some data exchange, especially network and everything, like they would probably, like before looking at the product, they'd probably be interested in like any kind of security, like certifications from like third parties, right? So if you have any like that, probably would be good to highlight here. That's all.
Yeah, we have a plan for this one because exactly what you're saying, that, banks, we have already talked to 2 big banks, and this is the first thing they raised, that you have any security thing. And obviously, it's just trying to make it quick. Yes, we have in our plans, yes. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you guys.
Thanks so much.
Okay, so to give Andrew a little bit of a heads up, we're going to hear from Andrew, and he's going to talk about his platform that is it's an online marketplace for high-end apparel. And I'm going to switch her over. And Andrew, as soon as the timing starts, you're good to go.
Cool. Testing, awesome. Hey everyone, my name is Andrew O. I am the co-founder of Bambify, and I am here to tell you today how we're going to simplify manufacturing. Everlane is a company that some of you may know now as a success story in e-commerce. It started in 2010 as an e-commerce store selling t-shirts. And at the time, no one would have ever guessed that they would be able to stand up to a big player like J.Crew, which is one of the go-to and biggest apparel brands in the world. Yet, between the years of 2013 to 2016, Everlane had managed to double its annual revenues, exceeding sales of over $100 million. And in that same time period, J.Crew, on the other hand, had declined their sales significantly to the point where today, the CEO actually stepped down. And this is not an uncommon phenomenon that happens just in apparel. This happens across all industries in consumer goods right now. And in addition to that, the top 100 CPG brands in the world, among them, 90% of them in 2015 had actually lost market share. Another 2/3 lost declining revenues. And this is all in the face of e-commerce. We are today in the age of the artisan, the consumer, and the entrepreneur, where we have a platoon of suites and services that make it easier than ever before to launch a business. Yet, when it comes to a business working with an overseas manufacturer, it seems like nothing has really moved forward at all. When creating a product with a manufacturer, brands, entrepreneurs of all sizes and all get that's in the supply chain management right now. One is communication. They're managing on an average of 4 different platforms, that being email, Skype, and then communication apps. What's even more ridiculous is that they're actually still tracking their files through emails, which gets lost. They are writing changes and making notes on pen and paper on their designs, and then mailing that in a package halfway around the world to their suppliers. And it's still very antiquated in the sense that they are using banks to still wire fees and to pay their suppliers. As an e-commerce business, the longer you stay in the game and the more successful you get, you're going to want to accelerate the production and you want to accelerate the production and the design phase of your product. Yet it is incredible how this system hampers and hinders the ability to scale up to your true potential as an e-commerce business owner. And so that leads to a variety of different problems. The biggest problem is actually here. It takes a company an average of at least 8 months with a manufacturer. And this is across 4 different sample iterations. But what's key here is miscommunication and miscommunication designs that lead to an extended period of 6 months in additional time developing a product to be production ready with the manufacturer, which leads to an average loss of potential sales of over $300,000. And that's real money being lost. So this is where we come in. Bambify is an online communication app that simplifies 3 things: communication, collaboration, and the facilitation of payments. So going through this, we're going to pretend like I'm a small brand working with a manufacturer. It's very simple. First, when you chat, the first thing that we do is we separate the chat applications, your chat communications from existing social platforms like WhatsApp, WeChat, Skype, and whatnot. What's really cool about this is that you can actually upload a file and zoom in, and when you do that, you can actually design changes right there on the fly. And that will be saved so that the manufacturer and the sample maker back in China or India can always look back and make sure that they're getting your designs exactly the way you want it to be. What's really cool about us is actually going to be our payment feature. And that being that this is going to be the first real payment method that's going to be used through the chat application itself. And what's really key here is that banks charge an average up to 15% in foreign exchange fees every time you wire money to your foreign supplier. But we're going to get that down to 1% plus our commission. In addition to that, what's really cool about our payment platform is that on the buyer side, we're really reducing the amount of risk and bringing you more power on the brain because we're going to be able to facilitate escrow. What escrow is basically a process where you as the buyer can send us, Bambify, a portion of the funds that your manufacturer had invoiced you and set some terms and conditions as to what needs to be accomplished before the payments are dispersed. And that drives real value to buyers, especially with suppliers that they haven't worked with before. Bambify is an application and currently a marketplace that was created by 2 successful entrepreneurs. I myself own a sports company called Mint Ultimate. I've grown in over 25 countries around the world. She did her undergrad at Harvard, recently graduated with her master's at Cornell. She worked at Microsoft for 2 years, and we met while we were actually working on a Jersey project for my company about 2 years ago. And when we realized we were both trying to solve the same antiquated industry of manufacturing, but from 2 separate lenses, we realized there was room to work together. And ever since then, we've been working in Bambify full-time since. Now let's talk about the size of the market itself. Manufacturing is a huge market. It's a $168 trillion industry. And just the apparel segment of that alone is valued at $925 billion. And it's expected to cross the $1 trillion mark within the next 5 years. These are just some of the brands that we've had the fortune of interviewing. And these brands are typically doing south of $10 million in annual revenues. They do at least production runs a year. And each transaction for those productions is on average valued at $175,000. our vision is to essentially continue building value onto our products and to eventually become the Slack for manufacturing. And as we do that, we have two revenue models in place. One is a freemium SaaS model. The second is taking commission through transactions. So the combination of both would give us a total addressable of $4.3 billion. So the journey thus far. Bambify is currently a Shopify recommended resource for overseas manufacturing. My partner Mira and I have made trips to Japan and Colombia to source these manufacturers personally and learn more. We've also made personal trips to China to work on our own projects in manufacturing. And we've built relationships over up to date. To let you know that we're in good hands, I'll just quickly go over some of our advisors. So we have Allison Toombs, who is with brands like advisor. And Plaid is a company that empowers. I have an e-commerce advisor, Keith Smart, who has built his own multi-million-dollar sports brand through e-commerce and is actually a former Olympian in fencing. And we have our entrepreneurship advisors, that being Chris Carter from the Kinetic Cafe, as well as Daniel Marquez from Accenture. Our vision right here is to simplify manufacturing. Like I said in the beginning of this presentation, everything here, from the clothes on your back, to the chairs that you're sitting on, to the tables that you're drinking from, all of it has been manufactured or at least touched a producer in some way or form. And in the next decade, Bambify will own and empower all of those interactions between buyers and suppliers. Thank you.
So keeping the tradition alive from the last presentation, suggestion would be if each of the judges or advisors, gives your comment about you can have kind of a general commentary at the end, and then we'll break it over to the audience.
Right.
Unless you really feel strongly about something, obviously.
Thank you. Okay, just a couple quick things. I like the fact that you're solving that problem because there's obviously around the world, there's a lot of people connecting to all these different markets. One of the curiosities was, what is the ask and what does the for you as a business? Currently, right now, you have 2 people. Are you outsourcing a development build? What are you going to be doing with these funds? And where does the market sit for you guys? There's a global market of trillions of dollars, but where is the market for what you're trying to go after? I'm assuming you're not going after the $100 trillion market. So is your market segment 1 billion? You're going after these types of manufacturers. You said you found 100 of them. What are those types? And how can you make that work quicker for you?
Okay, sorry. For them again. In terms of we're trying to hit. So again, we're just focused right now solely on apparel manufacturing. And within that segment, we started with our marketplace where we curated and screened out premium manufacturers from around the world that you can't really find anywhere else, or that's a huge pain in the ass to do. So as we all know, there's Alibaba, but one, they don't screen out the manufacturers unless they pay for gold supplier status, in which case they a lot of fraudsters still appear. But for us, we're really focusing on the manufacturers from areas such as Japan, which is known for creating and perfecting pretty much anything. Colombia, which is known for like swimwear, leather goods, shapewear. We have some but that doesn't discount necessarily manufacturers from places like India, because Tirupur, India, is actually known to be one of the greatest textile hubs in the world, and it itself produces 65% of all the textiles in the world. That being including the cloth tables on your tables, actually. So that's the segment that we're trying to hit right now, just premium manufacturers from areas known for the craftsmanship. But of course, we do intend to conquer the entire apparel manufacturing industry at some point. And sorry, your other questions were the ask, right? So with regards to the ask, this is something that we've been asked a lot, and it's something that it's an answer that has changed a lot for ourselves. But given just recent revelations, is why I left it off the presentations. We're actually looking right now to raise $1 million at a $5 million at a $5 mil valuation. And basically the game plan of that would be, my partner is actually moving to San Fran in October, and I will be soon joining her after that. And we are looking to hire 2 back end, 1 front end, and 1 biz dev to help.
So with that ask, then it would be good to have maybe a slide that talks a little bit more about the revenue, the breakdown,
Right.
and also maybe sort of, once you have the ask formalized, where exactly it's going. You've got it verbalized here, but that's something that people are going to want to see in a hardcore format. And also, what has been the revenue and the traction to date? And then competition in terms of what is the competition, what's the barrier to entry? You sound like you've got a strong start, so just differentiate yourself from what else is out there.
Thank you.
I really like the